Good evening. This is Lourdes from the Chambers. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome. Good evening.
Good evening.
Recording in progress.
Mr. Costales is running late this evening, and I need someone to fill in. Vice Chair, I believe, is Julio Guillén. Are you not Vice Chair? Or is it Angelica? One of you two.
No, I don't think I am. No.
We do have 3 board members, Angelica Lang, Julio Guillén, and Anna Price is present. So 3 members constitute a quorum. So we have a quorum for this evening's meeting. Anna Price, would you like to be chair this evening?
Oh, certainly, I'll do that.
Great. It's not on the agenda, but I would like to introduce our acting planning and zoning director who's here with me at the chambers. His name is Mark Alvarez. I'm not sure if our cameras are working, if you can see us.
There we go. Yes, good evening. Pleased to meet you all.
Good evening. Good evening, and welcome.
Thank you. If you want to go on? Yeah, I won't be saying much this meeting, but perhaps the next one. But good to meet you all. I hope to see you more.
Okay, are we ready to begin?
Yes, ma'am.
So we'll call the meeting to order. And the first item on the agenda, or the second item, is the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. If you will, stand. And we will pledge together. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you. So now we have our roll call, if you will.
Okay. You want me to do the roll call?
Roll call.
Oh,
Okay.
Julio Guillén.
Angelica Lang.
Anna Price.
Mark Alvarez.
Lourdes Cabrera.
Marcus Islip.
Good evening again. Do we have a swearing in this evening?
We have 2 applicants. Andy Korch is
Uh,
present.
The next item is, go ahead. Go ahead.
And for Avanti Quality Corp, I believe the lady's name is, who's present for Avanti Quality Corp, or the homeowner? Who do I have here in the screen with just a telephone number? I'm sorry, it does not have your name.
Lily Ferrer with just a telephone number.
With who, I'm sorry? It was so fast that it echoed here.
My name is Lily Ferrero.
You're a board member.
Yes, I'm a board member.
Correct. Okay, I thought you were, I mistook you for an applicant. I'm sorry because it didn't have your name. So, okay, so Lily Ferrero is also here. I believe then we're missing 1 applicant, but the first one is present. Andy Jorge is present. Korch. So Anna Price, would you like for me to read the first item for the record?
Oh, so there's no swearing in?
We can swear Mr. Andy, Mr. Korch in.
Would you please?
Could you raise your right hand for the record, please? State your name and address. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Unmute. Unmute your phone. Unmute.
Mr. Korsh, you need to unmute yourself. We still connect. There we go. It says it's connecting, so let's give it a second. You're still muted. You need to try that again. It says it's connecting, and it did not go through again, unfortunately.
Maybe he should connect by phone.
We cannot hear you. I think now it's fine. Can, welcome, Mr. Menendez. Oops.
Hello?
No, there we are.
can hear you now. That's fantastic.
All right. Sorry about that, everybody.
So do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mhm.
The first item this evening is Historic Preservation Board 2022-004, Certificate of Appropriateness, applicant Andrew P. Corge, property owner MMG Sunset LLC for Sunset Inn. The location is 5850 Southwest 72nd Street, Sunset Drive. The request is for signage within the specialty retail historic preservation overlay, hometown district overlay. Mr. Corge, applicant, submitted a COA application for the installation of a flat sign. It's considered a flat sign because it's less than 9 inches from the wall. It is one sign affixed in the front right corner facade of the building located at 5850. As far as the history of the building, Mr. Gorge, Gary Costales is not present. Oh, there he is.
No, I'm here. I just got here.
Welcome. Yes, we heard that you were going to be running a little bit late. We have Ann Price who started the meeting on your behalf.
Okay.
Mr. Costales, can you put the first item up so we can see the signage in the screen that the applicant is proposing?
Okay, you want me to share the screen?
Please.
Okay, let me get it right now.
As far as
It's 04, right? Okay.
yes, we just started with the first item.
Okay.
Also for the record, as far as
I'm
attendance,
here. I just got here.
Mr. Costales just got here, and also Manuel Menendez walked in after we took roll call, but he is present.
Okay.
Mr. Menendez, could you state your name just for the record, please, so we can hear you?
Okay, you want me to share the screen? Okay, let me get it right now.
I think there's some kind of feedback there, somebody,
Yeah, Manuel Menendez present. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I've got a lot of a delay of some kind.
I hear myself, so that must be the delay that you're
Yeah, I
experiencing.
don't know if somebody has two screens open or something, or I don't know why that would be.
or on a speakerphone. Yeah.
Or speakerphone, yeah, okay. Okay, you want me to share the screen? Okay, let me get it right now. Is anybody on a speakerphone?
Somebody,
Everyone is quiet here at the chambers.
Yeah,
for
I've got a
us.
lot of a delay. We haven't had this happen before. So I'm just on the way I always sign on. Has anybody signed on in an unusual way in any way?
No.
Yeah, I don't know if somebody has two screens open or something, or I don't know why that would be.
or on a speakerphone. Yeah.
Or speakerphone, yeah, okay. Okay, you want me to share the screen? Okay, let me get it right now. Is anybody on a speakerphone?
Somebody,
Everyone is quiet here at the chambers.
Yeah, I've got a lot of a delay.
Okay.
We haven't had this happen before. So I'm just on the way I always sign on. Has anybody signed on in an unusual way?
It seems to be repeating itself also. Okay,
Yeah, I don't know if somebody has.
Should we hang up and dial in again?
Why that would
I
be.
think whoever's not speaking, maybe perhaps can mute themselves. Maybe it's something that
Yeah, okay.
we're picking up that we shouldn't. And okay, we're going to share the screen from our end, from City Hall. And it seems quiet now. So the minute is up on the screen, I'm just going to start briefly the report again.
Hi, Gary. This is Marcus Lightfoot. Can you stop sharing your screen so I can share mine?
Okay, wait. Do you want me to stop sharing?
Should we hang up and dial in again?
Yes.
I think whoever's not speaking, maybe perhaps can mute themselves. Maybe it's something that we're picking up that we shouldn't. Does anyone have the television on? Gary, you're the only one that's shown that you're not muted. Everyone else is muted, and it seems to be all right, I guess. Can everyone hear me? Just not your head. Yeah, I can see you all rather than hearing that background. Okay, beautiful. As you can see, there's the first report for this evening. Again, the location 5850 on Sunset Drive is the specialty retail historic preservation overlay with a hometown district overlay. The request is for signage for the units, the rental units that are on the second floor of this historic preservation, building. The applicant is proposing to install one sign facing Sunset Drive. It will read Sunset Inn, South Miami, with the image of the sunset for the purpose of identifying the businesses on the second floor. As I mentioned, I believe there's 6 units that are located on the second floor. We have the flat signs regulations. It is clearly a flat sign because it does not project more than 9 inches from the wall. It meets the code because it has less than 20% of the area of the building facade and less than 200 square feet. The sign will be installed on the right corner. It consists of channel letters with LED that will be mounted over the existing concrete block wall next to the side entrance stairs to the second floor. With that said, for additional information, there it is. That's the one that pretty much says it all. That is the corner of the historic building. If you recall, a lot of board members might recall, Carrot Express will be occupying the ground floor, and their sign will be on the center of this building. There's an additional photo of the whole facade, but this one is placed on the second floor upstairs, definitely because that's where the entrance is. Those are surrounding photos. There's 4 of our downtown, and then there's the so the building will go right above that the signage will go right above that window, and again, they're not going centered on the facade, obviously, because Carrot Express, and I'm sure a lot of the board members remember that sign has been approved at that location. With that said, staff's recommendations for approval with any conditions or suggestions from the board. Thank you. I hope that was not too brief. The sign specs are also 31.4 by 53.12.
The building will go right above that window, the signage will go right above that window. And again,
Okay,
they're not going centered on the.
I looked at
facade.
this before. Could you hear me? Could you all hear me okay?
Remember, the sign has been approved at that location. With that said, staff's recommendations for approval with any conditions or suggestions from the board. Thank you. I hope that was not too brief.
Mr. Costales, apparently it's something at your end.
External.
Okay, I'm gonna sign out and sign back in.
Thank you. Ms. Price?
You wanted me to unmute?
Yes, everything is great when you're running the meeting. So yes, please. I mean, I don't know.
Well, I
There's
do.
a lot of experience there. So.
No, it's something on his end because we were all muted. Are there any questions, any concerns?
I have one concern, but
Yes, sir.
maybe, I don't know if we should wait for Costales to come back. I think the design, okay, I don't want to be too much of an architect, but I think the design has to be centered over that window, you know. That's for sure. On the other side, you know, it's really elegant. I like it. You know, the colors look nice, even though we cannot tell what the colors are. Well, you know, if they are like they're showing in the PDF, they are really nice. You know, the harmonious, you know, the colors, the type of font, everything is really good. Except that it should be centered over that, you know, window there, you know, for sure. I think that whoever did it thought that it would be hidden by the tree, but I don't think so. You know, I was looking now, you know, the street view of this, you know, when you are coming from Sunset, and it wouldn't be hidden by the tree. You know, the tree, it's only you are really in front of it that it will be a little bit of that factor going. But right now it looks very haphazard, you know, the location.
Anyone else?
I have a question. Is this sign going to be lit? And do we have a way to have an idea about how bright this will be? Because I don't remember us, you know, considering that for the Carrot Express.
The sign is lit, you know, it's internally lit, according to the next page.
Yeah, it's an LED sign. That's
Okay.
correct.
Carrot Express, I believe, was an LED sign as well.
And Lord, as you said, the Carrot Express sign is gonna go on the front.
Welcome, Mr. Costales. You sound wonderful.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, this is LED. Yes.
Yes, the Carrot Express is in the front middle of the building,
Okay.
right in the middle. We put it up on that side to identify where the inn is. We opened up approximately 60 days ago, and the reaction online and with the people that have come has been overwhelmingly good. They love the area and love the building, the way it was preserved. It really, MGM, who is the owner of the building, we're the tenant at the top floor for the next 5 to 10 years. And they did a spectacular job renovating that building. So the signs in that corner, because that is the entrance, technically it's 5852, that side of the building, the address. And you're right, probably putting it over the window in the middle would probably make more sense. I agree with you.
That would have to be read into the record when the motion is made as a condition, please, clearly centered with the window.
Okay. Whatever you all think. But we're eager to get the sign up. We thought it was very tasteful. We're really promoting the historic nature of not only our building, but the entire area online, on all the outlets that we're in and all the multiple listing channels that we're on right now. And again, people love the building. I mean, our reviews on Expedia right now have been 10 out of 10 on every review we've taken so far. So we're very excited to be there and even more excited that it's a historic building.
So it's still in?
I'm sorry?
What is the business? It's an inn? It's a hotel?
It's a hotel, yeah. We're required by the city to have a 2-night minimum, which we have. We found that we're getting, a lot of, some traveling medical professionals that are working in the area as well, and they're frequenting the businesses in the downtown. I think it's just a great partnership between history and business and commerce, and shows kind of how that can work hand in hand. But I appreciate your consideration and obviously, hopefully your approval tonight for our sign so we can identify such there in that location.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you did a really good job of putting the package together. And of course, staff did a great job of doing a summary, but I thought the sign looked great. So Manny had a suggestion. I didn't catch all that about putting the sign in the middle, centering the sign.
Julio.
Yeah.
Julio did? Okay.
Mr. Guillen had the suggestion. So I just want to make sure
Okay.
if that's the case, that it gets read into the motion as a condition.
Not on the sound elevation, center with the window, and everything is centered there with the window below.
Okay. Do you want to make a motion on that or make that, should that be mandatory or a recommendation or?
No, it's,
I think it should be mandatory.
yeah.
A quick question, is the entrance to the end, the stairs on the side?
It is, yeah, that's the front entrance. You have to walk up that flight of stairs. And then at the top is the entrance to the inn, with our eight studios are upstairs there.
Okay.
Is there going to be another small sign on the entrance where the staircase is on the bottom?
No, we really hadn't planned on that. We were thinking of initially of putting just an entrance sign on that canopy on the bottom, leading up, but really we haven't, and there's been no issues finding the entrance, so we've decided not to do that.
Okay.
This is Anna Price. I move that we move this request forward. That's HPB 2022-005 COA with the addition of having the sign moved in the center on top of the window.
Second.
Oh, I second too.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, so there's no nays, then you're approved, Mr. Corge.
Thank you so much for your time, everyone, and you have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
The second item for review this evening is HPB 2022-005 COA, applicant Avanti Quality Corp., property owners Rafael Castellanos, location 6463 Southwest 72nd Street, Sunset Drive, exterior renovations. This is the Orris Pond development. It's a planned unit development residential, and the request is of a certificate of appropriateness is for the exterior renovations. It's really the repair of the existing roof for the subject property. They are photos of the one-story residential home. This area, as you know, is a privately gated community, and the intent and the most important issue here is the reuse of the existing roof tiles. So the proposed work as described in Section 3 of the Certificate of Appropriateness application notes the intent of the project, which is to fully replace the underlayment of the roof while reusing the current roof tiles, mainly, again, to maintain the historical integrity of the home. The job will consist of removing and lightly pressure washing every single tile, followed by full removal of the reinstallation of a modern waterproof underlaying system, and then reinstalling of the cleansed, restored tiles. Additionally, the proposed renovation must comply with the Florida Building Code, and the applicant requests for final approval. This is the report. There is also a photo of the existing conditions of the entire roof, and you can clearly see the need for the cleaning, and there's also a before and after look of how the tiles are going to be cleaned. Marcus, can you move? There's the whole description in the application, and on this one you can clearly see
Can you go
the
to the images of the roof?
elevations. There, there's the home, and the pictures below show the need and the request. You obviously can see the tiles, and here's an example down below of a pre-washed tile, and then how it's going to be restored to its original color, so you can see the actual, the darkest portions are clearly the dirt on those existing roof tiles. Following that, I believe, is just in a kind of a floor plan done by the
And like-
applicant, and also the NOAs
Yeah,
for that.
note that Shark Skin, the underlayment NOA that they're presenting is an expired approval. Is the applicant present?
I don't think the applicant is here. I can't see everyone if I zoom out. They're not required to be present. And an NOA, anyway, would be for permitting. So that's not a document that needs to be submitted to us. The
Yeah,
intent is the
understood. I was just
pressure.
pointing out that this particular one is expired.
Okay, so as far as,
If I would have a
Can I
question,
finish?
if the applicant were here, and that would be how they intend to source the tile, if they're gonna try to repurpose tile on that roof, how they, what do they-
They're reusing the existing tile.
staff,
They're
I-
removing it.
I understand, but,
excuse me, can I finish the report, please?
yeah, sorry.
So with that said, staff's recommendation is for final approval of the roof repair and, of course, the cleansing of the tiles. Thank you. The applicant, just for the record, the applicant is not required. I don't see them on. They were invited to the Zoom meeting. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I think it's great that they're gonna reuse this old clay tile that's on this home. I was just curious if, if they were here, I was gonna ask, where, you know, if, you know, how they intended to source this, because this looks, I have an idea of what this could be, and it could be tricky to find it, so. Just, I was just thinking aloud, if they were here, I was gonna say, wow, that looks like, you know, like a Gladding McBean or Mineral Wells, and, whew, very tough. Shingle, it's a clay shingle tile, it can be very difficult to find. But I think it's fantastic that they're planning to reuse it.
I think it's very commendable that doing that effort, you know.
Well, I will make the motion that agenda item number HPB 2022-005 C0A be approved.
Second.
Third.
Fourth.
Okay, all those
favor
in
as well.
favor?
We have a full board, so 6 members are present this evening. So it was final approval as presented.
Did you call for the vote? I didn't hear it.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so it's passed, nobody voted nay. Okay, what is the next item on the agenda? Oh, here it is.
The approval of the,
Approval of the minutes, yeah.
Okay, I move that the minutes for the last meeting be approved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, that was the last item on the agenda?
Yes.
Yes,
Mr. Menendez did send staff a request that he wanted to discuss Cambridge Lawns.
yes, I had emailed staff with a couple of questions, and I had asked to see if my communication could be forwarded to the rest of the board, but I wanted to ask, while we're here, if one of the staff members, if one of the members of the board has a concern, is there a method for us to communicate with the rest of the board? Can we email staff and staff email, forward this to the board?
If you're
You want me
referring
to, I can. Yeah, my understanding is that the proper thing to do would be to email staff and we'd have to make it an agenda item.
Okay. No, because I had emailed several times staff requesting that they forward my email to the rest of the board, and that isn't happening, so I wanted to see if, should I expect for this to happen, or?
If you're referring to your communication with Ms. Janes in reference to a Cambridge Lawn home, I thought that was all
Yeah, okay.
discussed.
No, okay, so,
I was copied on that email, I believe.
yeah, okay, so rest of the board, I just wanted to, bring up briefly about Cambridge Lawn. So a lot of the stuff we see here, look, it was great to see the Orr Pond home now, because so much of what we see is commercial property and not, one of the 30 or 30-something historic homes in the city. there was a home that we looked at a couple years ago, 4 years ago, and there was just, you know, work being completed now, and, you know, I wanted to point out and, you know, put in the air that we need to consider in the future for Cambridge Lawns homes and other, you know, historic homes in the city, because of their scale and, you know, the fact that many of these are 100 years old, they should look like they were built with materials that would be appropriate for the time that they were built. We have to be very careful, I think, with windows, the sizes of the spans, the colors of the metal that people are putting, etc. There was a house there by the Brewer Park that this is a house in question, and it's just noticing that the home, you know, it's great that these people are fixing it up, and the home was run down and who knows, in terrible condition for over 10 years. It's great that they're fixing it up, but we have to be aware that the finishes that people select really be something that seem appropriate for homes that are 100 years old. Bless you, Marcus. It's just something that I think that we need to keep in mind. Also, for the historic district, I think, you know, perhaps there's items that are, I don't know if there are zoning issues more than being a historic issue. Sometimes there's a blurred line between these two things. But, you know, in the historic district, there's a lot of, there's a lot of interesting looks, and it is the historic district. I mean, there's some homes that, you know, seemingly have 4 paint colors. There's homes that have, you know, 4 different types of fence on the same structure. And there's things that I'm like, hey, you know, is this a historic preservation issue, or are these zoning related matters? And, you know, I don't know the answer, but it's something that I'm curious about. And, you know, there's only so many homes in the historic district, and as well as the homes outside of the historic district. The historic single-family homes of South Miami need to be protected. And, you know, we need to have some, you know, degree of consistency in the look, I think, as well. Especially when there's 100-year-old homes, you know, 100-plus-year-old homes. Some people are selecting very modern finishes, and then, you know, I think that's the whole point of this board, is to stop this from happening. So I don't know, I just wanted to put that out there in the air, and
I want to make some comments on that. I think there's a lot there to unpack.
Yeah.
And I think it's, you know, there's Manny certainly is in touch with Cambridge Lawns more so than I am, just because of where he lives and the house that he lives in. And there's maybe other board members that are more in touch with that as well. The problems that you brought up could come up where maybe when an applicant goes for approval, it's not detailed enough in terms of the finishes. In that kind of instance, then we have to, I guess, you know, do a good job to make sure that the finishes are spelled out, and maybe insist on pictures. I mean, so far, I think we've had a lot of applicants that have really good pictures. I can remember a couple years ago, we had a spate of people that just didn't have great pictures, and it was kind of hard to picture what they were talking about. I need pictures myself. I'm not, you know, as technically capable as other board members. Then I guess there could be a problem that arises where you notice that somebody maybe who has not gone through the process is doing things to their homes that their home that's not in keeping with Cambridge Lawns, you know, the tradition of Cambridge Lawns and the architecture surrounding. And I guess maybe the question is, what do we do with that? And then maybe there's could be a third scenario where we approve something and then they don't do exactly what they said they were going to do. And we haven't, I suppose that happens, but we haven't had it happen a whole lot. And I assume that's because the city inspectors would find that out. So I'm trying to put what Manny said into 3 different boxes. You know, that we do a better job when approving for finishes. Secondly, if somebody just, you know, starts to alter the appearance of their home, what do we do? And thirdly, what if somebody doesn't do something that they were supposed to do in accordance with the application.
Thank you, Gary. When I brought my concerns up to the staff, they had mentioned that they're currently, they said that there was no, like, once we approve something, there's, that's it, it's sort of approved forever. There's no way to revisit it. They explained something to me, something along those lines to me.
Lourdes, could you speak to that issue or the process?
Well, one of the comments about the fences, property owners are not, you know, you have a mixed match of different fences. I know this is different because it's historic than the rest of the city, but property owners have a right to, in other words, they don't have to, when they replace a portion of their physical barrier, they're not required that they do the entire site. And yes, they will choose a different material. Chain link, for instance, is something that was allowed in the code many, many years ago. That's not the case today. I understand there's chain link on Miller. Is that still correct? I haven't driven by Miller. Okay, that could be something that was erected, installed many, many years ago. A property having 2, 3 different types of fences is because property owners not required to do, when they fence, their entire yard again. They usually, in some cases, they only put whatever's broken down or whatever's damaged from a hurricane and so forth. And I'm saying these things because I know that all these homes that were built when we've had hurricanes and issues of this sort. If it's allowed in the code, if it's allowed in the zoning code, just like in any other residential home, then the fence is allowed as far as the material. Yes, something like, what are the latest fences? The ones that look more, they're not white picket wood. Let's say something other than that, it would be a newer style of fence. Yes, that's there also. So you go from chain link all the way to many different styles because of the amount of years that these properties have been in existence.
Do the fences even come within the code, the preservation code?
The
Or-
fences are the same for every residential, so it's not just in Cambridge Lawns, it's throughout the city. Every
Okay.
home, every residential, all 5 of them are governed by the same code section, which is 3.6 for the physical barriers.
So that could allow chain link fences then, or,
Right now, the code does not allow chain link adjacent to the right-of-way.
okay. But it
In
could
the
allow
back-
fences,
In the back, at one time, chain link fences was very common dividing backyards. Now,
Well,
if someone's
if
gonna
there's a prob-
reinstall a fence, they don't reinstall a fence with a chain link. They do the
Okay.
wood.
well, if there's a problem with fences not, keeping in the style of Cambridge Lawns and everything, and it's allowed by the code, then it sounds like there's a problem with the code then. If that's an issue. I mean, is that, Manny, are you saying that's an issue with fencing?
No, I was just commenting that there's just a lot of variability with, in Cambridge Lawns. There's, I was just pointing out, that there's, as I had said, I mean, there's some homes that there's one home that has 4 different materials on it.
Possible.
There's properties that have chain link in the front and whatever. I was just, I understand that the city doesn't allow that, but then, some things are grandfathered in. As Lourdes explained, people can go replacing sections as they go failing. But a lot of it, I guess, happens, people do it as a repair, so it's a not permitted thing. So I don't know. I mean, it was my understanding that the Historic Preservation Board, we had an interest in how the property looks from the street. And some of these homes, the fencing material is a very, or front wall or whatever, is a very defining part of the look. So, you know, I guess I'm totally ignorant as to whether or not our board has, you know, whether we should have a position on that, and, you know, how we should exercise our position on it.
I think those are good issues. I think it raises two issues. One is, are you going to have fencing that detracts from the look of the home? And I of course, I can see where you could make all kinds of fences that detracts from the look of the home. You can have a fabulous looking modern home, and then somebody puts up some crappy fence that detracts from the look. The same thing would hold true for a historic property. It sounds like to me like the broader issue is, we're tasked with approving these applications, but are we to take a more proactive approach and assure that lawns, since we're talking about that area in particular, maintains a certain look? And if we see an issue, is there anything that we can do as a board to address that? I'm not sure that there is. And that's kind of a difficult issue, because you don't want to be too intrusive with homeowners as well. At the same time,
I agree.
At the same time, though, you raise a good point. You know, what if, you know, you do want it to be a little, I mean, the whole purpose of this board is so that there is some uniformity. And if there's glaring inconsistencies, maybe we should be able to point those out. And who else is going to do it except, you know, this board?
Yeah, I'm with you there, Gary. I think, you know, we can be proactive perhaps in thinking about, hey, we should handle these like this when they come up, and, you know, we can, you know, we don't have to go and bother homeowners, but just be aware. And when things come up for renewal and people come up to, you know, redo something, you know, there can be a time for us to go, hey, this is an appropriate material, this is not an appropriate material.
And I think it becomes more of a complicated issue, because I think aren't we prohibited from going and viewing the property ourselves? I remember the city attorney saying that a while ago, that if we have an application that comes up, we're not supposed to do our own, you know, inspection on our own, or something to that effect.
That seems very overreaching, you know, surprising.
It is, and I'm gonna have to, my memory's a little hazy on that, but I remember that was one of the points that Mr. Pepe made at one time, and I think that the idea is to sort of rely on what the applicant is putting to, you know, forth to the board, and not, you know, bringing out maybe some outside influences too much. But that may be throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I can look.
I think it's part of our responsibility to go by and see it. See some of these. But I think it would, I mean,
yeah,
we should go by, because people can present on, you know, something, and something else can catch your eye.
Yeah, and we all rely on our memory of what a property looks like. I mean, when we all looked at the applications tonight, we've all been by that building, and we thought, oh yeah, well, I know that building because I go by it all the time, or whatever. But I think what I'll do is, if anybody else wants to do this, that's fine. But maybe look at other municipalities and see what they do. Maybe they, you know, I know the Gables is a pretty aggressive, I think they have a whole department devoted to historical preservation. And, you know, they might have different procedures to touch on some of the issues that you talked about. Anybody else have any thoughts on that subject area?
The last thing I'd like to say about that, Gary, before we leave that, is just that perhaps sometime in the fall we can do, I don't know, I mean, can the Historic Preservation Board gather? Maybe we do a walking tour, look at some of the historic properties in the city? Or we could communicate via sign language? I don't know.
I think if we announce it, we can ask Tom Pepe that question. And I think that's a good idea.
I think it'd be interesting to get like a census, just to get an idea, because I regularly see most of the historic properties in the city. I think it's interesting, you know, for all the board members to have a look, you know, and perhaps in doing that, we can also find more homes that are worthy of, you know, that should be considered and should be added.
I think that I can run it by Tom Pepe unless Lourdes knows the answer off the top of her head, but I think that if we announce it, we should be able to do it. But we are supposed to announce it, and you know, I suppose we can say, well, we're not supposed to. Well, I'll ask Tom Pepe.
Cool, excellent.
Because we're not really deliberating on anything.
No.
Yeah, the Sunshine Law really has its, you know, makes this whole process a lot harder in a lot of ways. If unless somebody has anything else to say, I just wanted to talk about whether we're gonna be live again anytime, or how do people feel as a board doing this via Zoom versus live?
This is Anna Price. I can do it.
Live, okay.
Yes.
Does anybody have any objections to doing, not all, because I think, you know, I suppose people are going to be, I'm traveling now, I'm out of state right now, but people may be traveling, I'll be there, but maybe for the September meeting, we can start thinking about a live meeting. Any questions about that or concerns? And that assumes that nothing new happens with COVID, you know, it seems like we're over the hump with this, but who knows? Okay, any other concerns or anything, or what their questions? Okay, I move that the meeting be adjourned.
I second.
Okay. With no objections noted, Julio, you have something? No?
Lily, no.
Okay. Okay, we're not hearing any objections. The meeting is now adjourned.
Thank you. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Thank you, everybody.
Good night. Thanks.
Good night.
Bye.